How's it going, everybody? We are live with We Like Dota 2026. I am very excited to be back in the casting seat for a new season of We Like Dota League. This is going to be a lot of fun. I missed out on casting any games in the first week. The scheduling just didn't line up, but now we are here. We are good to go. We've got Greg 7 or 6reg Se7 and however you want to say it versus the Lost Boys. Greg 7 coming off 2-0 victory in their first series in week 1. Lost Boys with a 1-1 split. So both of these teams looking to cement their spot as things get started. We are already into our draft, so let's hop right into it. We've got an opening pick of the Witch Doctor from Greg 7, and that is going to be responded to by the Lost Boys with a Warlock. First set of bans coming out. We've got Vengeful Spirit, Sand King, Dragon Knight banned out by Greg 7, and Void Spirit, Leshrac, Necrophos, Disruptor are the bans from Lost Boys. They've got a few more bans coming up.
5 seconds.
See where they throw those next. Let's get some stats up. There's not a lot of stats yet because we are only in week 2. But we shall see what else we've got, or what these teams, basically what these teams picked last week is what we are looking for. So let's see. Greg 7, they took down No Limits 2-0 last week.
5 seconds.
They picked drafts. Yeah, they played the Witch Doctor once last week. They beat a Warlock in both games last week, so they know their way around this hero. We'll see if the Lost Boys can put it to better use than No Limits did last week. Let's see. Go to Lost Boys. Their drafts. They rocked some Spirit Breaker action, some Earth Shaker, some fun supports. They had the Warlock, and they did win with the Warlock, so it's going to be the battle of who will repeat the Warlock performance. Are Greg 7 going to beat the Warlock again, or are the Lost Boys going to win with the Warlock again? Second phase of bans, we've got Queen of Pain, Life Stealer banned out by Greg 7. On the other side of things, we've got the Anti-Mage banned out by the Lost Boys. So core bans coming out now. I mean, lots of cores banned in the first phase. Well, only 2 support bans used so far with the Vengeful Spirit and Disruptor.
Radiant's pick.
Underlord. It's not like a full-on aura meta right now, but Underlord has certainly been popular. This guy gives you a lot of what you want. He gives you the auras. He gives you the like global team fight. I feel like we're seeing Ags a lot more with him to get the, point anywhere on the map and get a big AoE of root. I feel like that's been showing up more and more. Any spicy chat going on? Not yet. So definitely looking for something that can cut through the Underlord here. See what Greg 7 want to contest it with. And the Lifestealer banned out by themselves. That's one of your immediate go-to anti-tanks. They're going to go for the Juggernaut. Nice to have the built-in spell immunity, or debuff immunity, I should say now, against the Warlock and Underlord, who are definitely dishing out the magic damage.
10 seconds to go.
You've got, like, just Warlock Underlord is such a scary amount of, like, AoE damage. These are really, really good circles from these two heroes. I feel like they work really well together, even if they probably won't end up laning together, but in the team fights, like, the team fight is already so good for the Lost Boys. Greg 7, that is an Underlord answer. That is one of El Clasico answers to Underlord, is the Firestorm deals HP percentage damage. Underlord has a lot of HP, which means stealing Firestorm and throwing it back at him does a lot of damage to him. excited to see that one come out. I feel like the Rubik is sort of your answer. It's also nice into the Warlock because if you manage to steal Chaotic Offering, I mean, it's hard to steal a bad Warlock spell. Um, I
Dyer's pick.
definitely expect to see big things from the Rubik. Already a very nice setup into these two heroes. I like the response of the Jug Rubik from Greg7. Keeper of the Light coming out from Lost Boys. This hero was super popular um
10 seconds to
last
go.
season. I don't think we saw it a lot in WLDL, but
5
in like
seconds.
the pro meta it was seeing a ton of play with how
Radiant's
good
pick.
recall was. And then Naga Siren. And this looks like a carry Naga Siren. I gotta turn off my I don't want to see those. Um
10 seconds to
I
go.
would assume it's Warlock Coddle supports, but it could be.
5
I don't
seconds.
know if the Lost Boys play a mid Coddle, and it could be a position 5 Naga Siren and then bump the Warlock up to 4. I'm guessing you want like a Naga Warlock safe lane duo, and then Underlord Keeper of the Light is your off lane duo, and they're saving mid for the overall last pick. The Lost Boys won the coin flip, by the way, and they used that to take uh the last pick in the draft. So Greg7 responded with taking Radiant. Last pick of the chunky middle phase of the draft for Greg7
Radiant's
here. You're
pick.
going to look to pick up something. Ooh, it's going to be a Tide Hunter for their off lane. Gives them a decent amount of AoE damage for the Naga Siren. I think they're looking okay, but they're still looking for something else into the Naga. This, I think, kind of explains the
10
Leshrac ban in the
seconds to go.
first phase. I think Lost Boys have been thinking about this Naga Siren for a bit.
5
Same thing
seconds.
with the Necro, which Greg7 picked, and Greg7 did play. It looks like a carry
Dyer's
Naga
pick.
Siren um, last week against No Limits. Yeah, that looks like that was how it was played. Viper banned out. Viper has immediately been super popular in the league. I mean, again, super early, not a ton of stats to go on, but if I look at picks and bans overall, Viper and Lich currently sitting at the most picked heroes at 7 picks. Viper slightly edging out
10
Lich with
seconds
7
to go.
bans as well. Viper also sitting at an
5 seconds.
85% win rate in the league, so that is a good hero to ban overall in the WLDL meta so far.
Dyer's ban.
Nyx Assassin banned by Lost Boys, which is a little interesting. OD banned out by Greg7. That implies that Lost Boys suspect that Greg7 would play a mid Nyx, which I'm also seeing Nyx Assassin banned out by No
10
Limits in
seconds to
both
go.
games
Radiant's
last
pick.
game, so clearly these teams know something I don't about what Greg7 likes to play. It's funny. So both of these teams are returning from last year. Lost Boys, I can very clearly see, and they've been around for a bit. I think, yeah, 2024. Yeah,
10
they've been around
seconds to
since
go.
WLDL 2024. Greg and
Dyer's pick.
Tommy Toon or Cher Liberace, whichever name you prefer. I mean, that's this stack has been around. You can see like they are the WLDL crew. Um, they predate my time in the league even like quite a bit.
10
Um,
seconds to go.
this stack's been around forever, but they renamed the team. Um,
5 seconds.
and this year they last year they were Freg 5 or Freg 5. Um, because I guess it was the fifth iteration of the team, and then this year it lined up quite nicely with the 6-7 meme. Um, the Luna is a very interesting pick. I've gotten distracted by my history and just now catching up on the fact that they've kind of picked two carries. I believe historically, Praetor tends to pick unconventional mid heroes. So I imagine this is a mid Luna. Could be a mid Juggernaut. That has been a thing that has existed in the past as well. I believe Praetor is famous for a mid anti mage, which is I think why we saw that get banned out. So I'm curious which of these carries is going mid and which one is going actual carry. It makes the draft interesting for Greg Se7en. It's going to be tough in the early mid game. You're going to be looking for fights as just Tidehunter, Rubik, Witch Doctor. Your Luna and Juggernaut are both going to be wanting to farm. Maybe you're going for a more early fighting Luna build out of the mid lane that I'm less familiar with. The response is going to be an Ember Spirit. But I think Lost Boys overall, especially with this Ember Spirit to finish off the draft, they feel much more equipped to take fights in the early mid game. Like, after the laning stage ends, I think Lost Boys are going to be the ones in the driver's seat, running around as 4, letting their Naga Siren farm. And really just getting out on the map, looking for fights, looking to make things happen. The Tidehunter means that Greg Se7en does have good team fight as well, but I still, even, like, as definitive of a good team fight spell as Ravage is, I kind of still prefer Lost Boys team fight just for how across the board it is. Like, Keeper of the Light's the only even Naga Siren arguably has a big team fight. It's going to be interesting to see if they get big setups with that into the Golem from Warlock. You do the song into the Chaotic Offering. If you time it right, it's crazy amount of stun and setup, and hard to lose a fight if you get that on enough heroes. Yeah, I think it's really going to be on the Lost Boys to come out of this laning stage in a good spot to then be able to just make a bunch of moves on the map. This is We Like Dota League, and we are remembering how to cast. We need to talk about hats. This is a classic but very good Underlord set with the Immortal as well. The Warlock, I like the set with the mask. The Coddle, I like the bird. I'm partial to birds, as you might imagine. And Ember set, it's fine. It's a good set. Naga's got the jellyfish hat and the nice tail. Nothing too flashy over there. We got the Rubik Arcana. I was just seeing, is that the Arcana or is that just, yeah, I don't know, he's flying. That's the Arcana with the cape as well. I was just seeing a Reddit post that apparently the Rubik Arcana, a lot of the animations are not working, but that does not count against you in the hats draft. Tide has actually a slightly different set than they were showing in the pick screen. It has the boat dragging behind him, which is fun. That's a newer one. The Luna set is nice. Juggernaut set, not overstated, but I do like it. And Witch Doctor rocking a mix of, I think, elements from the Quarteros set and the Golden Immortal. So looking pretty good there as well. Looks like it's going to be a full rune swap of both sides invading the opposite jungle, so not really going to run into each other, just going to pick up the opposite runes. Both sides will get 2, doesn't look like there will be any first blood. Yeah, it is Praetor mid on the Luna. That is how they are going to choose to lane this double carry draft. That means for Greg Se7en, it's going to be Ray and Uranium Heart in the safe lane on the Witch Doctor and Juggernaut, respectively. Laning up against, looks like it'll be Machu and Octavine on the Underlord and Coddle. Warlock, thinking about making a play, is going to TP up, so we'll look over at the top line as he arrives there. For the side of Greg Se7en, we've got the Plaid Pirate on the Tidehunter in the offlane, and Tommy Toon on the Rubik, up against Rufio's Naga Siren carry, and Crazy Ninja Smurf on the Pause 5 Warlock. Near mid lane matchup is that Praetor Luna that we mentioned, and Raiga on the Ember Spirit. Much more traditional mid hero. Pretty I feel like all the spirits are in a pretty good spot again, and or Earth Spirit probably the one we're seeing the least of lately. But if you've got the player for a spirit hero, I think it is a pretty good time to draft one. Keep an eye across our lanes. No first blood early, so we'll have to try to spot it out. Ray getting brought down a little low with the Firestorm from Matchu. But able to step out of it before taking too much damage. Octavine also getting quite low from the Maledict, but is going to survive as well. Healing up from a Tango, probably more of those to come. I feel like my camera is moving a little faster than I want it to, so give me a second to adjust my camera speed. It's already as low as it goes. Fun. Okay. We will keep playing with it.
That was not what was supposed to happen.
Everybody settling into their lanes. Early leaders. Mid is pretty even. Uranium Heart a bit ahead of Matchu down here. Top pretty even as well. Pretty good harass coming out from the Warlock. Fatal Bonds into early soup. Don't always see the upheaval. Also choosing to go the Champion of Goroth Facet, which I feel like has not been super popular in competitive Dota. Definitely see, like, it's very fun to play with in pubs. If you get into a good spot, your golems can be really, really powerful. Nice lift and toss to secure the Healing Lotus from Tommy Toon. Now setting up on Crazy Ninja Smurf. Trying to find the first blood here, but it looks like we'll be able to escape under the tower, and Crazy Ninja Smurf will be okay. We missed the first blood, as is tradition. It happens down in the bottom lane as we get too distracted with top. Ray finds first blood on Matchu. I will give you the next best thing, which is the death summary. It is a spin and maledict. It is exactly how you would expect somebody to die in a lane against Juggernaut and Witch Doctor. Does leave both the Jug and Witch Doctor a little low, and Octavine is on full health and just about full mana. So they will have to play a little safe as the Underlord comes back. We'll see if they look to make an aggressive play. Ray is healing up. They have a lot of healing eventually in this lane. It looks like neither of those healing abilities leveled up yet. Definitely not your key components to your laning phase, but something that may come out as, you know, they eat more and more of these nukes. A little bit of a rune battle happening mid. We'll head on over and check out that. It is going to be a TP over from Crazy Ninja Smurf as Ryga getting brought pretty low, but the upheaval will slow down Praetor, who's retreating anyway. Octavine rotating over as well, with both supports showing up. Are they going to try to make a play onto Praetor? It looks like they will back away. Ryga now looking to secure the other water rune. Would be nice for the bottle, especially as Praetor brings them farther low. Crazy Ninja Smurf staying in the area, dropping off a Shadow Word. Get Ryga healing back up. Now with the Fatal Bonds, Praetor has to back off. Look to be a little careful here, but we'll be okay. Uranium Heart does now have a point in the Healing Ward, but that is going to get brought down by Octavine. Does get them back up to a little over half health. So in pretty good shape here. These nukes coming out, the Illuminate, though. Always something you got to be thinking about in the lane against the Keeper of the Light. I got up on full health now after securing that water rune. Praetor is going to be the first to level 6. See if they look to make a play. Does have the Eclipse and 3 points in Lucent Beam. Pretty low on HP after that Sleight of Fist, though. Downpot, Uranium Heart, maybe looking to chase forward Array as well. It's going to get the Cask into the Maledict, but no further chase onto Octavine, who will likely be able to shrug that one off. Haven't looked up top in a little bit. Got Phase Boots getting finished up by Plaid Pirate, and now in the mid lane we do get that first usage of Eclipse, but Octavine is going to be able to get there in time to help secure their return kill. So it ends up being full 1-for-1 mid-for-mid trade. And one of these days, I promise I will get you a kill on your screen. First cast of the season, we gotta shake off the rust a little bit up top. Rufio going to shrug off some of that encroaching damage with some illusions. They're gonna chase down Machu. They've got the Maledict on him, but it looks like it's gonna just survive it. Does put them in a little bit of a tricky situation with the Wisdom Rune coming up, and with Octavine still making their way back over to mid. Machu's going to try to contest it on low health, but Ray is there at full, already sitting in it, ready to go. So Ray is going to be able to secure the Dire Wisdom Rune. We'll see if anybody makes a play for it. Ooh, Crazy Ninja Smurf. Isn't actually going to go for it. Maybe notices that Tommy Toon is leaving the match. Or leaving the lane, not the match. And so it will be both Wisdom Shrines for the side of Greg 7. Nice little early experience advantage for them. See if they're able to put that to the test. That's a little troublesome for the Lost Boys, who we said in the draft, I feel like want to go for some early fighting, early pressure out of the laning phase. If Greg 7 have the advantage out of the laning phase, it's going to be tougher for the Lost Boys to recover. Uranium Heart nearly gets brought down. The heals coming out from Ray are going to be there. Another Illuminate coming out. Uranium Heart has to be careful. It's going to be directed over towards Ray, though. The double heals mean Uranium Heart's going to be okay. This is... like, now it's online. They're both on level 5. They both have 1 point in the healing spells, and it's just an absurd amount of heal. These guys really never have to be low on health if they don't want to be. Top still pretty calm. We're going to see a rotation from Tommy Toon over towards the mid lane. Regen Rune secured by Ryga, holding that in the bottle for now. Ward by Praetor. Octavine making a rotation over, sends an Illuminate out over. Now Ryga chasing forward with the Remnant. Eclipse going to be used early, now turning around, and Ryga's going to go down. Nice heads-up play from Praetor, realizing that they could get Ryga alone in the Eclipse and punishing the approach. Octavine going to head right back to the bottom lane. Uranium Heart pinging that out. It's taking a good amount of damage. It's going to have to spin out of Pit of Malice and manages to sidestep the Illuminate and get healed right back up. God, that healing is crazy, and that's before they even use the Healing Ward. Definitely, I expect to see a Vessel out of somebody on the Dire side. We'll see if there's somebody who actually wants to build it. Now potentially setting up on Machu, immediately going to spin off, going to try to get that spin damage into the Maledict. Not quite connecting though, and so going to be forced to back off, not finding the connection that they wanted. We approach the 10-minute mark. Let's see what we're looking at for, if I can remember. There's the net worth button. Could have just used the drop down, but trying to get fancy, and it took me a few too many tries to find the hotkey for that. Luna, the big winner. Praetor coming out on top by quite a bit in the laning phase. 1,000 more net worth than anybody else. There's a pretty much a 3-way tie for cores after that, and then the 2 Lost Boys cores after that. So Greg 7 with a 3k lead, actually, at 10 minutes is quite significant. Definitely have enjoyed the most farming out of this laning phase. Praetor once again gets gone on, but just turns around with the Eclipse and completely punishes a single Lost Boys hero who gets a little too close. Very good understanding of the range of Eclipse and when it can be used and single out an enemy hero. Nice deny on the tower by Ryga. right under Praetor's nose. So that's a little win, little confidence boost for Lost Boys, who are going to need it at a 4K deficit now at 11 minutes. Down bot, though, the advantage is going to grow for Greg 7 as they once again find Machu at the hands of Ray. Guessing this is going to look a lot like the last Death Summary. Actually, it's a Death Ward. This is a solo kill by Ray. Uranium Heart wasn't even a participant, didn't even get the assist. That's tough. When you're super... Like, obviously, Underlord is not immediately tanky out the gate. He has some ability with, Atrophy Aura. He's pretty strength heavy. He's durable, but, like, the Witch Doctor damage is just too much. This is why this was a first pick worthy hero for Greg 7. Things still pretty calm up top, although maybe looking to set up on something. Octavine heading up here with her rotation. Getting the flare out onto Tommy Toon. Illuminate connects as well, and with the root, there's going to be no way to escape. The Ravage is there, though, but it's not going to be enough to keep Tommy Toon alive. See if they can turn around for anything. Underlord coming in off the back as well. Praetor there, going to pop the Eclipse, but the Song is there, negating quite a bit of the effect. Ray taking so much damage from the AoE effects, from the upheaval, and now Praetor in trouble, going to try to stay alive, but it's not going to be enough, and now they look on to Plaid Pirate. Huge moves from Lost Boys, only losing the Warlock and bringing down 4 heroes from the side of Greg 7. Excellent answer from Lost Boys exactly when they needed it. Very nice, and that's that early mid game. That's the end of the laning phase team fight that they've built themselves an advantage for with this draft. They have so many good abilities for fighting the enemy team in an AoE, and they display that beautifully in the first big team fight. Even into that Ravage, it's not going to be enough with the way the enemy heroes connected, and the Lost Boys able to really come out on top of that team fight. Going to cut the net worth lead down to 3K. See a big swing there. And is going to set them up to be a little bit more comfortable and see if they make any more moves. Now, they did use just about everything in the tank there. They're not necessarily going to be looking for fights immediately in Uranium Heart with that Battle Fury ready to go, maybe knowing that there's an opportunity here. Machu, you have to be careful. That wave gets finished off. Has the Omni Slash available, going to go for the spin. Machu already getting brought low even before any chance of an Omni Slash being used. Uranium Heart able to get out of the Pit of Malice, wants to find that kill, but Machu able to sidestep away. Crazy Ninja Smurf kind of helping block off the path, and it looks like Uranium Heart will just be content to go back to farming the waves and allow them to escape. Meanwhile, up on the top side, Raiga finding the kill onto Ray. The action continues up here. Plaid Pirate taking another Illuminate to the face. Stolen Illuminate now for Tommy Toon. That's a dangerous one. Only 1 point in the Arcane Supremacy so far, but the Rubik really amps up that damage. Neither team looking to really commit into this here. Raiga and Octavine maybe going to rotate elsewhere. There's no heroes mid for them to find. Praetor, meanwhile, Illusion Rune, or Invis Rune smoked up. Not smoked, you know what I mean. Following Crazy Ninja Smurf, are they just going to pop the Eclipse? They sure are. See the Upheaval go out, see them trying to get some cheeky Ancient stack farming. Now there is going to be a response here from Lost Boys. Raiga and Octavine are nearby. There's the vessel, or the urn at least, that we talked about being a good idea for somebody on Lost Boys to pick up. I believe that has been pretty powerful. Nice dodge. Does still bring out the cask, but doesn't get caught in a tricky position. Uranium Heart is going to find Octavine. I feel like could have committed the Omni Slash there to just pick up the kill, but chooses not to. Octavine will be able to safely walk away. Rufio now starting to crack into that top 3 net worth lead that's been held by Greg 7. Greg 7 still holding a bigger net worth lead. They farmed so well with the Battle Fury, early timing on Uranium Heart coming out of that lane, and then Praetor even being slowed down a little bit off of that last fight. I mean, Mask of Madness Yasha, there's going to be tons of glaives flying everywhere throughout the jungle, so no surprise that Luna is still the top of the net worth here.
Face it, you're a loser.
Blessings upon a loyal warrior.
The Tommy Toon may be looking to set up some more vision, just sentries ready to go, kind of backing up Plaid Pirate as a farther forward push as well. Ray showing up with some more wards in tow. Kind of looking to find a hero up here. The only hero to be found, though, is Rufio. And you really got to get the perfect setup on a Naga Siren if you want to bring them down. Stolen Illuminate goes out, Rubik holding on to that spell for quite a while. Really getting the most out of it, picking up some farm there. Staying at the top of the support farming. Honestly, concerningly close to Raga's farm here. Ember Spirit has not had too bad a game, as now they're going to portal off. Where are they going? Where are they going? Oh, they're going on Praetor. There's a short-range portal. But do they want the fight onto Praetor? Here comes the Ravage! Plaid Pirate, perfect timing, keeps Praetor alive. That's word going to go out. Not going to find much, but now they're setting up onto Raiga. Going to try to Remnant away. Rufio showing up as well with the song that's going to secure the Ember Spirit's retreat. It'll just be the two kills, the Warlock and the Underlord. I think pretty good damage control from the Lost Boys after that failed engagement on the Luna. Greg 7 doing a good job showing up and managing to turn that around. Up to a 9k net worth lead in 18 minutes. Greg 7 just farming their little hearts out so far. Like, the fights have been not too one-sided, only 9-6. But definitely finding an advantage in their ability to farm so far. Ray maybe going to be the sacrificial lamb here, as Greg 7 perhaps stay a bit too long on the enemy triangle. They do pick up some of those creeps there, so that'll be a trade. But I think one that the Lost Boys are pretty satisfied with. Going to slow down the pace of Greg 7 just a little bit here. Shield Rune on Praetor means Octavine and the rest of Lost Boys need to be a bit careful. Praetor showing no fear, farming up here under that Shield Rune. Let's see, we haven't talked too much about items so far. Juggernaut with Battle Fury Yasha. Manta will be there in not too long. Praetor already rocking the Manta with the Mask of Madness, looking at an Ags next. So going kind of an interesting, like, split attack and caster build. It's not too surprising out of the mid lane. Is Raiga, gotta be careful, will be able to Remnant away. Praetor will just scoop up the farm from the wave. Let's see, we do have the Blink Dagger on Plaid Pirate. I'm not sure if we've seen that yet. That might have come into play in that last fight. Reuse early from Underlord. Looking at an Ag. So that's that like global fight presence that I think will give Lost Boys a really nice position. I also like the Casual Cloak. Maybe he's going to finish the pipe. Probably going to finish the pipe before going for the Ags. Just has both in the queue. Who else to look at? Rufio has Manta Style. Even up with the Tide Hunter and Farm. And then Raiga just rocking the Spirit Vessel. Looking to catch up. It'll be a quick Tormentor. Does get scanned out, but there's not going to be any responses. Tommy Toon, in Uranium Heart, get back over here and heal. He's already fully healed up. Just having a little bit of fun. See, and it was the shard for the Rubik. So that that was Tommy Toon testing out the newly acquired shard of, hey, look what I can do now. Yoink. And it looks like they're going to pressure this top tier 2. There is going to be a response from the Lost Boys, but Plaid Pirate right on top of it, right onto Octavine, trying to bring down the Coddle early, but the song kind of negates some of the damage from the Chaotic Offering, a little bit awkward. We'll see what additional setup they can get. Praetor in some trouble with the Golem hitting, but gets off the Eclipse, gets off the Mask of Madness, able to heal up. Machu is going to go down. Praetor just about going to fall. The tower hits will finish it off. And so it's 2 for 2 so far. What else are they going to find? Uranium Heart still standing strong. Plaid Pirate getting low. Trying to bring down Crazy Ninja Smurf. Big Wand able to stay alive for a moment. Not going to be enough. Plaid Pirate does eventually go down to Raiga, though. That's a nice kill for them. Octavine now in trouble. It's Tommy Toon finding the connection. Raiga maybe looking to connect, see if they can find the Rubik. Looks like they will back off, seeing that healing ward, getting Tommy Toon back up and healed. In the end, it's 3 dead on the side of Greg 7, 4 dead on the side of Lost Boys. I missed how Rufio went down, and I want to see the death summary before it's gone. Omni Slash. Omni Slash was able to find and single out the real Naga Siren, and that allows them to bring her down. Very nicely played from Uranium Heart, who did finish that Mantis style, looking at a Butterfly next. Pretty nice into a pretty attack damage reliant team. Naga Siren really does not want to build an MKB. Probably doesn't really need to. Is going the Kid. And actually into the Bloodthorn will be an even better answer than an MKB would for the Butterfly. So kind of already on their way to a solution to that, which is good for Lost Boys. Tommy Toon going to get caught as Lost Boys look to take back control some of their jungle. Haven't looked too much at the Vision game. Nice, like, I don't know how recent all of this is. I could hop around and look. Yeah, I think they're getting this back up now. That one's pretty old. Double sentry there, we won't dwell on that. Yeah, like, for the side of the map that they have control of, and the state of this game at a 12k net worth deficit, pretty good vision. Doing a good job holding control of their jungle. And cleaning up the deep wards. They are going to see this one. They know Octavine just placed this, so that one will not stick. And this deep ward did not get cleaned up. That's going to be one to look out for. They may look to make a play on a hero farming the frogs over here. Let's see. So I think pipe on the way for the Underlord. What's funny, you can see it. I guess just set to auto-deliver. I thought this was because I have a controller connected in Steam right now, which I'm not using. But I was using before we started the cast. Ooh, Raiga gonna get found. Just too many heroes for Greg 7. Caught a little too far forward, doesn't get a chance to remnant away. As Tommy Toon's Rubik has surpassed Raiga's farm. So, the Ember Spirit having a tough time of it. Still has been, I think, decently impactful in the fights. Just outside of the fights, I think having a tough time finding space alongside the Naga Siren and Underlord. Both pretty farm-heavy cores, not too surprising. When you're playing from behind, the Ember Spirit's really the core that's going to be reliant on fights, and those haven't been going their way, so not too much Raiga can do about that in this situation. And it's going to be into the Roche pit now. For Greg 7. Should be the first Roche for them pretty securely. There is a scan seeing Ray. There's going to be a smoke. I don't think it's going to be in time, though. There is a scan as well. This could be troublesome. No, they're going to see the Roche go down and back away. They don't want to take a fight now that they see that Uranium Heart has that Aegis. Got the Ags finished on the Luna. As a little bit of a skirmish, but it looks like able to dodge away is Raga this time. Getting the Remnant out. Got Kaya finished for Raga, so getting some damage amplification going. Pipe being worked on by Plaid Pirate. Falling a little behind from where they were before. I think just the nature of being in all of the team fights, and again, farm-heavy cores from the other two. They're just not, like, a hero that's going to be more reliant on team fights to find farm.
There goes Radiant's bottom tower.
Yeah, you've got not quite the... It looks like the Battle Fury... Yeah. Or sorry, the Butterfly. Already had the Battle Fury. Other BF has arrived for Uranium Heart. Now you have the Orchid. I'm actually going for a Butterfly of her own for Naga Siren before finishing the Bloodthorn. We'll see if the Butterfly reveal on Uranium Heart changes that build-up. They will take down a second tier 2 tower off of the dire side of the map. Lost Boys not going to look to fight that into the Aegis. Still 3 minutes to go on it for Uranium Heart. 17k net worth lead for 6reg Se7en, still maintaining solid control of the game. There's definitely still opportunities for Lost Boys to get back into this. I think if you can get to... What kind of timings are you looking for? The Butterfly, I don't know... I don't know. The Butterfly is tough for the Jug, for sure. Who has no plans of going anything that would counter it. So maybe that is the big difference maker. I would say it's good against the Luna, but the Luna's really going a mixed build with this Ags. And Praetor, with the Invis Rune, is going to see Rufio here, but also is going to see the TP in from Raiga. They have the vision, so they're aware of Praetor being there, but able to back away safely. So, like, the last of the Tier 2 towers will be cleaned up. Still a decent chunk of time on the Aegis. So no contest coming out for the Lost Boys. And now it will be the struggle of, can you go high ground? It is a very solid high ground defense team here from the Lost Boys. Otto, very annoying up into high ground. Warlock, very annoying up into high ground. Working on that early Aghanim Scepter. Also has the Shard. Smoke up now. Pipe finished on Underlord. Instead of the Ags looking to go full, full Aura build with the Crimson Guard, I think that is a good choice with how strong Juggernaut is. And Luna, again, I know we've been talking about it being a mixed build and having magic damage. Plenty of attack damage, too, with Manta-style Mask of Madness. They are going to look to push up into the high ground, and they are getting some damage into it early. 40 seconds left on the Aegis. Still awkward if Lost Boys want to fight into it. They do get the Orchid out. But Machu is just taking way too much damage. Uranium Heart falling low. Now just trying to use the Aegis, running in deeper. No fear here. Does not mind going down. Here comes the Eclipse now. Out onto Crazy Ninja Smurf, but a nice song from Rufio is going to negate most of that. Gotta be careful of Crazy Ninja Smurf. Able to get out, and now Praetor has to be careful. Ravage comes out, though, covering Praetor's retreat. Manta off from Rufio. Bad Pirate getting reeled in. They do finish off the racks in the meantime by Uranium Heart. Aegis is going to be expiring now, so back to a proper 5v5, although they're already down Machu and now Octavine as well, though they will use the buyback to keep it 4v5. Rufio getting low, going to be forced back into the fountain. Raider is going to fall, though. The damage coming out, especially from the Warlock, the Fatal Bonds, the upheaval with the Shard, finds 2 kills, double kill for Crazy Ninja Smurf. Now Raiga wants to chase for more, knows there's a low health Rubik here, but is not going to have the distance to be able to catch up. Machu coming off of the respawn used the gate to try to chase out as well. Didn't quite find a connection. Now there is the awareness from 6reg Se7en that there could be a hero in the area, but it looks like they're not going to look to pressure on it with Ray and Praetor down. So lose a Rax, but do defend otherwise successfully. It's going to give the Lost Boys some opportunity to get some map presence back out, find some more farm in their jungle, get some more of the Madstone picked up for their neutral items. I haven't really talked about neutral items at all. 3 Whisper of the Dread crafted on the side. That's the 4th one, actually, because Machu already had one. These guys like dealing magic damage. But the pipe has been finished by the Plaid Pirate. Who I don't think, when we were talking about hats, I never awarded a hats draft winner, and I think in an otherwise quite even hats draft, the thematic boat and hat of the Plaid Pirate on this Tidehunter, I gotta give it to them. Gotta give it to 6reg Se7en for the hats draft. As the anchor, very devastating for an Ember Spirit right into the Swift Slash. Not a full Omni Slash. Ag's finish for Juggernaut. They find the kill to pick off on Raiga. Does have buyback. Not too scary of an opportunity for 6reg Se7en. Looks like they're not in a rush to go high ground anyway. They are instead going to turn their attention to the Tormentor, which has just recently respawned. They'll clean that up pretty quickly, and it's going to be a shard for Juggernaut. Bigger Blade Fury and the Slow. Not a shard that I think you see Juggernaut ever manually picking up until late in the game, but not a bad one by any means. I think you've got every other shard except for Luna. Maybe would have been the better one. I don't know how much the Orbit is dealing damage. I'll be interested to see that in the post-game breakdown. We can. Definitely hasn't felt like the most important part of Praetor's kit here, but I'm sure it is playing a factor. I think 6reg Se7en pretty content to farm up and wait for the next Aegis before they go for another high ground push. See how much they want to force the issue and how much they want to just sit back and look for some kind of pickoff before they do so. Let's see, what answers are they setting up? The Butterfly is finished on the Naga Siren. That is important. Means the Juggernaut is not going to be as well equipped to clear through Naga illusions. You're going to be more reliant on like the Tidehunter and the Luna, who have the AoE damage. The supports will help out with it as well. I'm curious. I would love to see the Bloodthorn finish by Rufio to have more damage into the Juggernaut's Battle Fury. Or sorry, Butterfly. Please. Ag's being worked on by the Ember Spirit, has the Shard as well. Looking to get as mobile as possible. Interesting, like, smoke kind of bait here. We'll see if they decide on 6reg Se7en to go for Raiga at all. Uranium Heart kind of taking the bait. Rufio gets the silence out into the root. but the Manta's there to be able to purge off the silence. Plaid Pirate TPing in. Now this could be troublesome for the Lost Boys. Plaid Pirate wants to find it. Now back in is Uranium Heart. The song is not going to prevent the damage from the Juggernaut from killing off Crazy Ninja Smurf. Matchu now in a very tricky position, getting pulled back by Tommy Toon and going to eat up all of the damage from the full force of Greg 7, who find 2 kills. So who was baiting who? Was it the Lost Boys baiting themselves? As Greg 7 are able to... I mean, they've been in such a commanding position for so much of this game that I think Lost Boys had a decent idea there, but just... Oh, this Juggernaut is just too hard to deal with. They had the silence, but they didn't have anything to prevent the Manta to purge it off, and from there, Uranium Heart was home free and gave enough time for the rest of Greg 7 to show up. There's just not enough to deal with this guy right now. 7-0-2 on the Juggernaut, looking to clear up, finish off a perfect game as they go for their second set of racks. Not even waiting for an Aegis, not waiting for a pickoff. I mean, I guess they had the pickoff, but now everybody's respawned. Nice toilet from the Coddle. The, is that spell actually called Will-O-Wisp? Thank you. It is extra team fight, but now their Ravage comes out, it hits everybody, and there's just not enough damage. They're going to have the buyback from Rufio available on Warlock as well, but they're going to set up onto Octavine, bring down the Keeper of the Light, who does not have the buyback available, and it looks like this one might just be over. Buyback from the Warlock now. Ryga trying to slow them down with some Searing Chains. But what more can they do to put up the fight? They're going to look for one last-ditch effort, but immediately controlled up onto Rufio. They're onto the real one. Manta comes out, trying to dodge away, trying to bring him down. Tommy Toon will get the final blow. Ryga in a tough position as well. Ray turning around with the Death Ward. Plaid Pirate on top. The roots come out, but Ryga's going to fall, and so is the enemy Ancient. GG called by Octavine. Greg 7 take game 1 in this best-of-2 series. 3rd win in a row for the side of Greg, who are coming off the defending champion of the Exhort division from last year. Looking to maintain their throne, and so far in very good shape. The 3rd win in 3 games under their belt. Let's see, what was the... Okay, this is not an important stat. Just because I remembered that I was curious about it. Yeah. Yeah, the lunar orbit, not that much damage. So the shard, not that important. Oh yeah, really ends up being more of a magic damage build, with so much damage coming out from Lucent Beam. I guess, no, it's pretty 50-50. When you combine the glaives with the auto attack damage, it's a pretty 50-50 build. Graph, I mean, you watched the game, this was how it felt. There were moments from the Lost Boys, but Greg 7 really just doing an excellent job. Getting an early advantage in the laning stage and never losing control of this game. Good stuff. Your MVP for that match, hard to not give it to a 10-0-3 Juggernaut. Obviously, the rest of the team doing a good job making space for him. Support of the game. Gotta go to the Rubik. I think Tommy Toon's Rubik. Definitely putting up an excellent performance. The farm on this guy finishes the game ahead of the Ember Spirit. Just really able to stay so far ahead. Very nice Rubik pick from Greg 7. Just into the Warlock Underlord. Very good read from them. Alright, we're probably going to have a very short break because I just yapped for a bit, but we will be back soon for game number 2 of this series. All right, we are back for game number 2 between Greg7 and the Lost Boys in week 2 of We Like Dota League 2026 in the Shard division. Greg7 took a pretty definitive game 1 win. We'll see how it plays out in game 2, although it looks like this lobby is maybe going to be sad. I have to remake, so we will be back with that in a moment. Oh no, it went through. We are good to go. Just took a little extra second loading. All right, similar bans out the gate. Might see a full run back of the bans. Curious how Lost Boys will adjust. I didn't dislike their draft last game. I think they need slightly stronger lanes because that was really like Greg7 came out ahead in lanes and never looked back. So they're really looking for something to break that up and make sure that they can get themselves in a better position coming out of the laning stage so that they are not at such a deficit when you hit like that 10-12 minute mark. Rubik banned out this time. That was one of the highlights of Greg7's draft last time.
5 seconds.
Queen of Pain seeing an early ban from Greg7. That was one I don't think we saw contested in the last series. So with Greg7 getting priority this time around, we did have the draft flip. They chose second pick this time. Lost Boys will now be on Radiant. And it is going to be the Dark Willow as the opening pick, so already switching things up. Potentially helping with that laning situation. Not a hero that... Definitely not a weak laner, but not a strong laner either. Not something that... It's not a Jakiro, you know? It's not something that I'm like, oh yeah, they are trying to win the lanes. But I don't mind it either. Also, more circles. Which was what I liked about their draft last time around. So, I don't know, maybe they need a little less circles so that, you know, they have more farming advantage, more carry advantage. The Warlock is going to get taken the other way this time. That'll once again be the second pick used by the Dire team, but the teams have flipped. So now it will be a Greg7, likely Ray Warlock.
10 seconds.
It could be Tommy Toon as well.
Radiance ban.
Juggernaut gonna get banned out by Lost Boys, respecting the... You kind of have to respect a 10-0-3 or 10-0-5 Juggernaut, whatever it ended up being for Uranium Heart.
5 seconds.
Curious if we see... Be interesting if we see Greg7 take the Naga Siren, and then at that point, just how much of the Lost Boys previous draft are they going to steal? As a lot of their previous draft getting banned out, the Rubik, Juggernaut, and Tidehunter all off the table. So Lost Boys forcing Greg7 into a firmly different draft.
10 seconds to go. 5 seconds. Dyer's pick.
Underlord is going to get banned out. So they will not just be running back the Lost Boys draft. That hero will not be making a reappearance. See what they want to open up this next phase with. Probably some off-laner. Who else is around? Who did they play
5 seconds.
last week in the off-lane? The Viper didn't eat a ban. They could grab the Viper. They also played a Centaur. It's going to be the Jakiro. So Greg Se7en looking to maintain a winning lane situation with Jakiro definitively a strong laner, and Warlock, who's a little weird. He is very strong in the lane, but sometimes can make the lane a little awkward for the core he's paired with.
5 seconds.
But definitely, out the gate, this looks like Greg Se7en looking to kind of double down on what they did last game and win their lanes. And from there, win the game. They did play this Jakiro in their first game last week.
Radiant's pick.
Silencer going to be picked up by Lost Boys. I feel like we've got 2 position 5s from Greg Se7en up against 2 position 4s from Lost Boys, so the Silencer might go into a core role. I feel like in WLDL in particular, it's not uncommon to see a core Silencer.
5 seconds.
And for some reason, I feel like I've seen it be played by the Lost Boys. I think, again, good team fight setup from the Lost Boys. Centaur. Gonna give them that initiation. That was something they were kind of lacking last game. Because with your Ember Spirit falling behind a bit, he couldn't be your initiator, and I feel like Ember never really wants to be your initiator. He wants to be... I feel like he wants to be the second hero that arrives into a fight.
5 seconds.
Underlord with the ult can be the first hero to arrive, but you kind of need the Ags to truly be an initiator. And then Warlock and... who's their other support? How have I already forgotten?
Dyer's pick.
Keeper of the Light, yeah. Like, this Centaur Warrunner is filling a hole that their draft had last game, which was initiation. Now, Greg Se7en is going to respond with a Blink Initiator of their own in the form of an Axe. It's going to be nice for holding people in the big AoE soups and fire for the 2 supports with the call. And then Lifestealer, we saw this get banned out early, or I guess in the second phase last game, actually by Greg Se7en. So that's going to be, securing themselves a good lane opponent against Centaur Warrunner.
10 seconds to go. 5 seconds.
Have somebody who can chunk into that beefy horse.
Radiant's ban.
Ursa is going to be the response. A little scary into Axe potentially, but I feel like does not mind the Axe too much. And another kind of anti-tank carry. These drafts are pretty symmetrical. They're actually very symmetrical.
5 seconds.
You've got like some team fights done from your first support pick. You've got AoE damage, general control from that first support pick. Your second support pick is giving you a lot of extra magic damage, a lot of extra utility, a lot of good team fight. Your offlane, both sides on their third pick a Blink Initiation offlane, and then on their fourth pick, both sides pick a durable anti-tank core. So that implies that both teams are looking for the same thing out of their mid lane, which is, at baseline, a ranged core, because you've got 2 melee cores on both sides, that you've got ranged supports. I wouldn't mind seeing a spirit, a dive hero,
10 seconds
just to get on that squishy backline and kind of kite around. Like, both Lifestealer and Ursa, both very kiteable. It's actually kind of incredible how
Tires ban.
similar these two drafts are up against each other. I'm very interested to see how it plays out. Necrophos so worried about like not going a range or a dive, but actually just more durability and more magic damage.
10
Um,
seconds to go.
Annoying for the Ursa to deal with, forces him to build a nullifier
5 seconds.
he doesn't necessarily want to do, so I don't dislike that ban, and I think it's something. Is it something that they played? It is. Yeah, they played him in Necrophos in their first game against No Limits last week, so also just reading the room of what else they've shown comfort on. One final ban to come out for 6reg Se7en. I expect it's going to be another ranged mid lane hero. It could be the Outworld Destroyer again. It's probably the most straightforward. Probably a little squishy with the supports that they have. And a little scary into Axe. So maybe you're not too worried about an Outworld Destroyer. Though it's also a nice save for Axe. You just astral the Axe. Runaton wants to... It is the Outworld Destroyer ban. Nice. Runaton wants to see the Lone Druid for Rufio. I think Rufio will be playing the Ursa, based on how last game's draft setup went. But they could be swapping around roles. I don't know how flexible these teams have been playing.
5 seconds.
I'm trying to think. I'm torn between dive and range for this mid lane pick. The Viper never got banned. I like a Viper for either of these drafts. It gives you a break. It gives you ranged damage. It still gives you durability. With the Ags, it gives you a little bit of dive. I mean, overall, and a pretty immobile hero, but maybe that's what they're worried about if they go that route. Well, there's the range. Now I feel like this is where the parity gets broken. This is where you're not going to see two completely parallel drafts because with the Lost Boys going so much of a static ranged hero, which I think is perfectly valid for their draft. It's something that I was kind of suggesting.
5 seconds.
Now I think you have to respond to a sniper with some kind of dive hero. You cannot go into a game against a silencer and a sniper with no way of getting onto the back line. We could see Praetor's patented AM mid come out. We could... I don't know what like spirit heroes. The Void Spirit's banned out. Praetor probably can play an Ember Spirit, probably can play a Storm Spirit. But instead it'll be a Broodmother for some reason. So they're gonna triple down on the tankiness into an Ursa, which I don't love, but sure. It is dive. Like that is a hero that can get on a sniper. Although might have some difficulty with the headshot. I'm digging the fake woman head with the Black Widow body on Praetor. I feel like this is like the quintessential pro Broodmother loadout right now. What else do we got? We got a mix of things happening on Silencer, so I can't fully tell what he's got equipped. No set for Octavine. But the right in the middle, how did it take me so long to notice? We've got the Courier, Centaur Warrunner, and despite the good stuff that we see over here, this guy wins the hat draft. This guy, this is new meta right here for WLDL 2026. You want to win the hats draft, Pick Centaur War Runner, have this set. I've realized I've been circling it with my mouse. I have it so that my mouse does not show on the stream. So you couldn't see that, but that's okay. You know what I'm talking about. Centaur War Runner Courier makes it very easy for me to choose the winner of the hats drafted. Oh, there is a set on Octomine. There's a very good set. I like the Space Dark Willow set a lot. All right, and into game 2 we go. Greg Se7en looking to maintain
Everybody get set.
their flawless start to the season. Lost Boys looking to answer back from a tough game 1 and try to put out another 1-1 series. I know if we had this, I was fully distracted last game. We got the Greg versions of all the heroes. We got Greglock. We got Grakes, Greg Mother, Grax, and of course, Greg Hero. Alright, this time... no, I think this time it's going to be the same as last time. I think it's going to be a full side swap for the runes. Yeah, that's definitely what's going to happen. Means I'm probably going to miss First Blood again.
Knock it off.
This is going to happen in the lanes, and I'm going to be looking at the wrong lane.
And they're off.
Why can't you make my job easy? Alright, so it's going to be Uranium Heart and Tommy Toon in the bot lane. Crazy Ninja Smurf going to have a bit of a read on where Tommy Toon is. Actually, no, these guys are making their way up to the top lane. Makes more sense. They were so far deep that I did not realize exactly who we were looking at. Plaid Pirate is going to show up with the Liquid Fire, or I think that was the Frost. And help Tommy Toon retreat. So it's going to be Uranium Heart and the Life Sealer and Tommy Toon on the Warlock in the top lane. Safe lane for Greg Se7en, which makes sense, up against Matthew's Centaur War Runner as the offlaner and Octovine's position for Dark Willow. On the opposite side, Rufio will be playing the safe lane Ursa, and Crazy Ninja Smurf will be on the position 5 Silencer. Ray, so there is a bit of a role swap. We've got the 3 and 4 swapping here. Ray playing the Axe off lane, and Plaid Pirate taking the Jakiro as position 4. Mid lane, it's a mid lane matchup everybody loves to see. It's a Brood Mother against a Sniper. Oh, everybody's favorite heroes. Praetor on the Brood Mother, Raiga on the Sniper. Disgusting. That's the parallelism between the drafts. It's not ranged versus dive. It's gross against gross. Alright, where are we expecting action in these lanes? It might be the mid lane that we most expect to see some action kick off. As much as I feel like these heroes are happy farming, I feel like they also like getting some damage in. Did end up going the Scattershot facet for Raiga, so has that extra nuke. Probably saw the Broodmother and pivoted to that to have some extra clear for the spiders. Wave getting brought deep, presumably Octavine dragged that over. Making things a little more difficult. Well, I told you it was going to happen, so it happened. We missed the first blood. Plaid Pirate takes down Crazy Ninja Smurf. Get that death summary before it's too late. Death by 1,000 cuts, kind of. The tick damage between Battle Hunger and whichever flavor of fire Chihiro chooses. They've got ways to slowly burn you down.
Somebody iced the Dyer's courier.
We gotta shake off the rust of casting, relearn to keep an eye on our health bars at the top of the screen. As a little bit of a battle, it's definitely Uranium Heart favored with that Shadow Word providing some healing alongside the Feast. Matthew pops the Healing Lotus, though. Uranium Heart gonna manage to sidestep the Brambles, so now maybe looking over towards Optimine. Does get caught up in one Bramble, into a Stomp now. Have to be careful of the Fatal Mons. Like, but he's just gonna back away. Last hits-wise, Praetor off to quite a good start. 7 denies. This guy's such a menace. I feel like any Greg game that I watch, you see Praetor hopping off in the mid lane with just a hero that should not be there. Although now maybe taking a little bit too much tower damage, and Raiga is going to find the kill. That's going to give them a little more comfort in this lane. Very nicely done. That's the scattershot facet paying off there. And Raiga feeling good after kind of back-to-back tough lanes against Praetor. Top, Uranium Heart getting rooted up, taking a good amount of damage, but Machu low as well. Shadow Word once again coming out, so Uranium Heart will be okay. Plaid Pirate taking a good amount of damage, but the call is going to prevent more of those Fury Swipe attacks from coming out. Everybody will back away on less than half health. I mean, somehow a kill is going to happen in a different lane in the meantime as I stay watching down here, expecting a kill. We have level 6 getting reached by both sides. Just as we look away, the kill happens, and Ray looking for more, or looking for a return, I should say. It was Plaid Pirate going down. Gets a call, gets some damage into Rufio. Crazy Ninja Smurf nearly going down in that skirmish, but not quite falling. Mid lane looking much more even than it did before. Still definitely an advantage for Praetor, especially in that deny column. Flip side of that is quite a few denies from Machu. Fatal Bond's coming out troublesome for Machu, getting a whole lot of that, and they are going to find the kill. Bringing down the Centaur Warrunner, evening the kill score up to 2-2. Octavine will look to secure the Lotus. Meanwhile, Ray catches Rufio out. Like straying a little too far from tower as the silencer was kind of forced to back away. Raiga teeing off into the spider, but plenty of life steal for Praetor. There's that scatter shot into the spiders. Doesn't quite clear out all the spiderlings, even at level 4, so maybe not quite worth the facet. I still like this facet a lot for Sniper, though I think Ghillie Suit has been getting more popularity. Not that Sniper is a hero you see much of in the pro games. Wisdom Shrines are going to be picked up by their respective position 4s, no trouble there. Uranium Heart is going to throw out spells into Machu. Octavine and try to do something about the upheaval. Uranium Heart starting to get low, but Octavine in a little bit of trouble as well. Uranium Heart healing back up. Nice stomp onto 2. They're going to bring down Tommy Toon. And Uranium Heart going to be forced to back away. So nice little sequence from the Radiant offlane. Lost Boys finding themselves want to support down bot. Crazy Ninja Smurf eating a battle hunger. Getting pushed back, but going to be okay. Matthew getting a little low again, but Uranium Heart stepping too far forward before Tommy Toon responds. Now the Lifestealer goes down. That's a very nice kill for Lost Boys to find. Switch over to the net worth. Very even game. Much better start for Lost Boys this time around. Slight lead in 6reg Se7en's favor, but pretty much dead even, especially with Uranium Heart falling farther behind on the farm. Praetor, unsurprisingly, up at the top again on that Broodmother. But Ryga this time, right there with him. Octavine finds another kill on Tommy Toon. Uranium Heart trying to get revenge, but is not going to find it before Octavine able to TP away. Ryga laying into Praetor, but able to skitter away. And someday we will see a kill on the screen. We've seen some, but man, too much action popping off. Every time you think something's happening in one lane, something's happening in another lane. Crazy Ninja Smurf in some trouble, gonna get called under some creeps as well. Spins coming out, no dunk quite yet with the silence. Ryga looking to get some revenge though. Ray taking big damage. Gonna set up with that scatter shot, finishes it off. Meanwhile though, or no, that wasn't meanwhile, that was the kill we already saw. Saw it in the kill feed next to it. Praetor picking up some deeper farm off of the Radiant jungle. Has to be a little careful though, because the way that the Lost Boys are rotating through could find the spider here. They're definitely aware of where she is. Matthew's not going to be able to hit the hoof stomp with the speed there coming out from Praetor. Going to go for some courier hunting. And now laying down the webs to try to get out. Looking for the TP away. That is a bold TP. Going to be forced to cancel it. Crazy Ninja Smurf arriving as well. They want to try to find Praetor, but just barely limping away. Dropping web after web. Has the movement speed. Still has 6 webs in the tank. This hero is crazy. I don't think there's any way they're catching... Oh, the snipe! They get vision just enough and Ryga finds the kill! I can't believe that. This ward just got them that kill. Excellent positioning from Ryga to be able to find that. The great escape cut short, and now Ryga, from being the bottom of the cores last game, at the top of the cores here at 11 minutes. Leading the Lost Boys to try to find a victory, even out this series.
Radiant's bottom tower ain't a pretty sight right now.
Pressure on the tower down bot. We'll see if Rufio and Crazy Ninja Smurf want to try to get some defense, but Crazy Ninja Smurf taking so much damage, Rufio is going to jump back in between to make sure that Ray cannot pursue further. And of course, the Silencer to step back pretty far, though. They'll keep chipping away. This tower up top. They're looking to find another kill onto Uranium Heart. Stampede forward, and before any TPs can come out, they bring down the Lifestealer once again. They've been putting so much pressure on Uranium Heart in this game, too. Matthew and Octavine doing a good job to slow down the farming of the guy who ran away with a deathless game in the previous one. Praetor continuing to farm deep here. Rufio is going to find the spider here. And they're both decided. Praetor wants the kill. Rufio wasn't sure if they wanted to interact with the spider, and I think is finding they did not. Gonna turn around with the jump. Crazy Ninja Smurf connecting as well. Oh no! The spider set off the tentacle. But now Rufio is still going to go down. Octavine is going to get the fear, and it looks like it should be a trade for Praetor. Snipe comes out, but now life stealing away, rooted up though, controlling them up. They bring down the spider. Now here comes the call in the Macropyre. That's the combo that they were looking for. Raiga is going to try to limp away, but the Battle Hunger slowing them down, dealing the tick damage, and they will be able to finish off the sniper now. Matthew going to try to find Ray. Pretty beefy though, turns around with the blade mail, is going to find Crazy Ninja Smurf on their way down, so at least gets that extra return kill. Rooted up on the Jakiro, but they do not have the health or mana to be able to continue chasing that. And overall, can I get a fight recap? Because, yeah, there we go. Okay, that's what I thought. It was 3 dead on Greg 7, 2 dead on the Lost Boys. So, a very nice fight. Or, wait, no. I've got myself backwards because they switched. 3 dead on Lost Boys, 2 dead on Greg 7. So a good fight for Greg. I mean, it's 2 cores for 2 cores, and then you got a bonus support. So it's not a big swing. It is a slight lead for Greg 7 over. This looks like a big lead, but that's just because there haven't been any big leads in this game yet. Raiga's still sitting on the top of the net worth. Going for the early Ags. My buddy Grapes would be very excited to see Raiga playing the sniper this way. This is exactly how Grapes plays sniper. Takes the scatter shot facet, rushes the Ags. The long range stun is a really nice initiation tool. And it's a very fighty sniper instead of leaning on your team to do all of your setup. Silence comes out on the Broodmother, scatter shot to follow it up with the shrapnel. It's weird. It's weird that Scatter Shot is the name of this facet and is also just the name of another hero's ability. I'll try to stick to calling it Shrapnel, but I've been talking about the facet too much that now that name is in my head, and there's no Snapfire in the game to make me think otherwise. Up top, Stampede to try to get Machu out. Uranium Heart chasing forward in the Infested Creep. Machu and Octavine definitely know what's up here. Infest Bomb comes out. Clad Pirate arriving as well. Global Silence is there. Octavine laying in the damage with the Bedlam and is able to find the kill on Uranium Heart. Elsewhere on the map, Praetor finds a kill on Rufio and Crazy Ninja Smurf. Clad Pirate trying to escape now. Machu gets the stomp and looks to finish off the Jakiro. So across the map it's a 2-2, but now it's a 2-3 because Praetor is just popping the fuck off on this Broodmother. I apologize for not seeing those kills. There was just too much happening. They're really a tale of 2 fights there, and the fight recap shows us neither of them for some reason. But Praetor just absolutely munching on heroes. This is... You watch this game, and you're like, well, we have to ban Broodmother against Greg 7 for the rest of the season. Praetor just has so many gross heroes out of the mid lane. You ban this one, they're gonna pick some other one that's just as tough to deal with.
Guess what's happening to Dyer's bottom tower?
Orchid out. Oh, Rufio gets blown up by Praetor. This Broodmother is in an absolutely crazy... Oh, Raiga. Oh, Raiga, you do not want to be here. Throws out the triple shrapnel. Does burst through all of the spiders. Nice heads-up play there to be able to walk away. Crazy Ninja Smurf throws out a silence onto the Broodmother. Curse as well. But I don't think they're going to look to chase forward into Praetor any further.
Got one last top tower.
Excuse me. Octavine here now as well, but oh, the Orchid comes out. Stampede will be there. It's not enough for Octavine to survive. I looked away because I thought the Stampede might have been for something else. Oh god, I have hiccups. Now Greg 7, kind of out of nowhere. 6k net worth lead. Raiga had a very good showing in lane against the Broodmother, but Raider has just shown up with this Orchid and become an absolute menace. Deep Vision means Ray is going to find the call onto Octavine. Tommy Toon with an aggressive Golem to make sure there is no escape. Greg Se7en now fully in the driver's seat once again.
What's with all the
A
scribbling?
very solid start from Lost Boys to come out of the laning stage quite even. Now Greg Se7en really finding their rhythm once again.
The Dire might want to mine their top tower.
Smoke up, wrapping around. If they can kill this Broodmother, they have the vision, they have the stomp. Scattershot, shrapnel coming out. Follow up with the Ag, snipe. Getting down to the low ground, though, the curse. The global silence is going to extend the curse. This should be enough. Is Praetor going to tick out? Oh, the save with the infest, and then they turn around on a crazy Ninja Smurf. Huge heads-up play. Praetor's going to be able to get back into this fight, explode out. Roche getting involved, but Rufio goes down. Praetor able to back away. Snipe out from Raiga. Really wants to find the kill on Praetor. It's just not going to be enough. None of it's enough. Shrapnel goes down, trying to kill off Jakiro, but able to heal up as well. And now Machu falls. Now they're tracing forward. It's just Raiga and Octavine left. And this is a scary position. The sniper is going to get slowed up. Here comes Praetor. Silence is there. Raiga goes down. Praetor is going to deliver this Cursed Crown directly into two other heroes for Greg Se7en, but
Dire best do
so many heroes down on the side of Lost Boys, that's going to be quite alright. Now, 8k net worth lead off of...
business.
Oh, they were so close. They were so close to killing the Broodmother. Praetor's positioning has just been so good. And there's still, like... There's not another item yet. It's just the Orchid and what this hero has in the kit. Able to dodge out of the Stomp. Now it's a full Bloodthorn. That's going to get put to use right away. Big extra damage from all of the spiders coming in. Crazy Ninja Smurf eating a ton of damage as well. Raiga does find the return kill with the snipe onto the axe. Crazy Ninja Smurf going to go down to the extra damage from the Warlock summons. And this, what can you do about the Broodmother chasing forward? Even if you got away, that burst damage from the end of the Bloodthorn is going to blow it up. Triple kill for Praetor. Godlike streak for the Broodmother, who has just absolutely ruined this game for the Lost Boys.
Radiant's mid tower's in trouble. Radiant's bottom tower ain't a pretty sight right now.
Will be the second of the tier 2 towers that Greg Se7en focus on now.
Radiant lost one of
Laying in the damage and bringing it down. For the Lost Boys, it's tough. This game fell apart so quickly. I'm not sure what they need to do to put it back together here.
you know the drill.
I mean, public enemy number one is Praetor's Broodmother. If you can find a way to kill this spider,
Mid tower could use a hand.
you need to find the burst, you need to find the control to lock down the spider. Spider's going to continue keeping the lanes pushed out as the other 4 heroes set up onto the Tormentor. The smoke is here. Raiga, with the shrapnel, not quite able to steal it, is going to be able to steal away a kill, though, bringing down the Plaid Pirate as they try to heal up out of the Tormentor. And the Tormentor killing off Tommy Toon on the way to getting him the shard as well. Oh, the call from Ray. Just finding Octavine, though. Global Silence immediately in response. Now Ray's going to be in trouble. Very nice response from the Lost Boys. Only finding what they can here in this game. If it's, if it's not answering the Broodmother, who's just taking your tier 3, which Rufio is going to try to do now. Oh, Rufio, be careful. The Bloodthorn comes out, though no web just yet. Now he's going to connect in. Gives them enough time to back away. Raider will skitter away as well. Oh, Rufio, you gotta be careful. You don't have the safety of your pace. There's less spiders this time, but Bloodthorned up and brought down. We've got... We must have a full BKB. Full BKB has arrived for the Broodmother. And if you couldn't kill the Broodmother before, how do you kill a Broodmother with a 9-second BKB? I don't think that that is a question that I can answer. But it's the question that the Lost Boys are going to have to try to answer. Raiga going full phylactery now. Really leaning into the Ag Sniper build, trying to find that extra long-range damage. Smoke up from Lost Boys, not finding anything though. Closest target is Uranium Heart, but quite a ways away. Might be able to find the Lifestealer here. Depends where Uranium Heart goes after farming this camp. It's going to be off to the mid lane. The safety of the tower there. Smoke's gonna break. Oh, tricky position, but there, Greg 7 laser focused on the Roche. Even if they caught a glimpse of the Centaur, not concerning themselves with it. Just going right into the pit. Oh, Raiga, be careful. Oh, Raiga, be careful. Oh, Octavine, also be careful. It's Australia down here in the bottom lane. Giant spiders on the move. Oh, the global silence! The turnaround, this would be huge! They bring down Praetor. Godlike streak goes to Raiga. That is what the Lost Boys needed. That is the glimpse of hope, the light at the end of the tunnel that they needed. See if they have any kind of path back into this game. The rest of Greg 7 is going to continue their battle for Roche, and it looks like that will not be contested by the Lost Boys. Rufio's going to see that get brought down, finish up farming the ancient camp, and get out of there before any of Greg 7 pushes up into that high ground area of the triangle. So Uranium Heart with the Yasha, Radiance, and on the way to Sanj, alongside the Aegis. Set up here now, a little bit of a tricky fight. Call onto Tommy Toon, or no, onto Rufio. Tommy Toon in a tricky spot. Rufio finally brings them down. Tons of damage coming out, and the dunk is going to finish it off. Machu in a tricky spot as well. This does not look like a fight that they wanted to find. Big shot out from Raiga, who finished the phylactery off of the kill on the spider, but now just getting run down by Uranium Heart. Going full into this snipe build means there's no defensive item, there's no force staff, there's no shard. Curse Crown is going to give Raiga some space. Pop out comes the ult. Uranium Heart chasing forward and finally able to bring down Raiga. Octavine wanting to find a return kill, rooting Uranium Heart up under the tower, but the Lifestealer is so durable. Plaid Pirate coming in for the assist. Raiga buying back, maybe looking for a snipe onto Uranium Heart. But the Infest means that Ray is going to have plenty of health, and there's not going to be the Lifestealer available as a target, who still had the Aegis left anyway. Now Praetor back up, making the way back down the mid lane and right towards that tier 3 tower. Knowing they have the Aegis on their Lifestealer, there's really no fear for Greg 7. With this 20k net worth lead at 28 minutes, there was that glimpse of hope for the Lost Boys, but after another tough fight, right back to asking the question of what can you do? Keep yourselves in this game. And right now, it's just going to be high ground defense. Can they clear out these spiders? Oh, Machu jumps in, not realizing how many heroes are backing up this Broodmother, but the Global Silence comes out. It's going to keep Machu alive for now and give Rufio a chance to go in. Looking into Praetor, going to be able to BKB and back away, though Terrorize, not enough to keep Rufio alive. Praetor will also get the finishing blow from the Bloodthorn onto Machu, and now it's 2 dead, no buyback, 5v3 plus Aegis. Uranium Heart looks for more, chasing forward onto Crazy Ninja Smurf, able to purge off the Cursed Crown, bring down the Silencer, now turning over to Raiga, already used the buyback, but Uranium Heart taking lots of damage from Octavine and the Tower's snipe. That's going to be the Aegis. They will at least find that for the Lost Boys. Praetor falling low as well, but okay for now, finishing off that tier 3 tower. Cursed Crown out onto Ray, but back onto the barracks. They turn their focus. They're going to find their first full set here. In the mid lane, they continue their push. It is going to be all 5 heroes back up, and now no Aegis for Greg 7. They're going to respect those respawn timers. They're going to back away. Basher up now on the Broodmother. Lifestealer looking toward... Oh, Lifestealer has one as well. So double Basher. Which is a little crazy because there's no BKBs yet on the side of the Lost Boys. Those are luxury items right now. Is just Battle Fury Basher on the Ursa. Oh god, I hadn't looked at the net worth in a while. Machu getting set up on... It's rough out here for Lost Boys. The Warlock is ahead of all 3 cores. Jakiro is right there with them. Global Silence comes out. Ray getting brought a little bit low. I mean, relatively low, but over 1,000 HP still to work with. Last of the tier 2s will fall. Greg 7 setting their sights on Mega Creeps here. Not wasting any time waiting for an Aegis, waiting for a pickoff. They feel confident with 29,000 net worth. You'd kind of hope you feel confident. Nice catch from Machu. I don't think there's going to be enough follow-up. Praetor able to slink right back down to the low ground thanks to those webs. Praetor hunting for more now. Going to set their sights on Rufio. Bloodthorn BKB. They blow up the Ursa. Has buyback available. Machu brought low, brought down, does not have buyback. So even if the Ursa comes back up, it's going to be a 4v5 into what already feels like an insurmountable lead. Last of the tier 3 towers goes down. The barracks look like they will not be far to follow. Octavine getting set up on Yules, just sets up the ice path and falls, but has the buyback available. Maybe looking to find something on Jakiro. Able to Glimmer Cape, shrug off the damage. There is the Mega Creeps. Greg 7 looking to close this out now, looking to improve to 4-0, go back-to-back 2-0 series. Ray looking to put the punctuation mark on it with that dunk. Tier 4 is falling. Machu about to respawn. It'll be their last chance if they want to look at anything, but they're just backed up in their base, and it's just going to be a GG call. Greg 7 take the second game. And they go 2-0 and improve to a perfect 4-0 after the first 2 weeks. We like Dota League 2026 in the Shard division. Excellent performance there from Greg 7. It ends up looking like a similar graph, but it drops much later. It was a very even game for a very long time, and then the Broodmother just went absolutely crazy. Absolutely, your MVP has to be Praetor. Really played the hell out of the Broodmother, especially from, like, again, not a dominant position out of the lane, a pretty even position out of the lane, but just played it so perfectly after that. Yeah, excellent performance there. Support of the game. I don't want to give it to Crazy Ninja Smurf, honestly. What did the support gold spent look like? Pretty even on this side. Not that many wards needed over here. Tommy Toon making a like highest wards purchased across the game, actually. Not that many from Plaid Pirate. Yeah, I'll give the support MVP from Crazy Ninja Smurf. I feel like the global silences were timed really well. Oh, God. Wait. Did he 5,000? Did the silencer really just never? Okay. Yes. Support MVP goes to Crazy Ninja Smurf silencer for having an inventory at the end of, like, not that short of a game. I mean, 32 minutes on the shorter side, but not that short. This is a vintage support inventory from Crazy Ninja Smurf. And honestly was doing, like, contributing quite a bit. 11 kill participation, a little less than Octavine, a little less than Machu, but they had a really good lane. Like, these guys won their lane. Uranium Heart had a tough start to that game. 4-3 and 10, very different from the 10-0 and 5 Juggernaut performance of game 1. Like, Praetor stepped up because they put a ton of pressure on Uranium Heart. But I'd still say Crazy Ninja Smurf's performance on the Silencer was very solid. Alright, I think that's about all I have to say about this game. Excellent play from both of our teams. Very fun to see the returning champs of the Greg squad. From Frag 5 to now 6reg Se7en. Really showing up as the as a potential favorite to repeat their victory. Gonna be fun to watch both of these teams going forward. Still plenty of matches to play. We're doing a full round robin in each division this year. Throw it back over to the standings. Obviously not immediately updated, but going into week 2, this is what it looked like. So lots of Dota action still to come. Definitely stay tuned for that. Thanks for joining us, and have a great rest of your weekend.